CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. We call ourselves modern, don't we? We say these are modern times. The years past are prehistoric or ancient or medieval. We say with some pride that we are modern, as though we'd smartened up considerably and discarded old, worn-out, discredited theories and practices. Yet our medicine has its roots in antique magic, and our science has its origins in archaic superstition. Without magic and superstition, it is unlikely we could have survived to become modern.
She has everything. A loveliness to take your breath away. She has sweetness and gaiety. But she has something else. I don't know what it is.
She has a wild talent. She's always had it.
But what is it, a wild talent?
No one knows precisely. Except those, perhaps, who take the trouble to learn.
Our mystery drama, The Red Frisbee, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Elspeth Eric and stars Robert Dryden. It is sponsored in part by True Value Hardware Stores and Luden's Medicated Cough Drops. I'll be back shortly with Act One. One of the Earth's loveliest seas is the Caribbean. In a gentle curve on the bosom of that sea lie the islands known as the Antilles. A man has come to one of these islands not only for the brilliant sky, the soft sands, the hot sun, and the cooling winds, but for the quiet and the isolation that only an island can give. What he finds there, we will tell you in this tale.
I'd come to the island after 3 years spent with an Aboriginal tribe in the interior of Australia. I needed to relax and reflect and try to sort out the ideas I wanted to incorporate into my article for the Anthropological Journal and later expand into a book. With me, I brought my voluminous notes, a suitcase full of old clothes, and my dog. Haven't you had enough? Okay, one more time. Okay, fetch. Ha ha ha, good dog.
He's so beautiful.
What?
He's beautiful.
Oh, whoa, thank you.
Have you always had him?
Sure, since he was a puppy. He's been all over the world with me. We just spent 3 years in Australia together before we came here.
Look, here he comes. What's he got in his mouth?
Oh, that's a Frisbee.
A what?
A Frisbee. You know, one of those round plastic things that you throw, you know.
Oh, no, I don't know. I never had a Frisbee.
Oh, well, they're kind of fun. They go sailing through the air. All right, drop it, boy. Drop it.
Oh, he doesn't want to. He knows he looks handsome with a red Frisbee in his mouth, with his black hair and all. What kind of dog is he?
Labrador Retriever. All right, drop it, boy. Good boy. That's enough now.
Oh, throw it again for him. I like to see him swim with it in his mouth. He looks so beautiful.
Okay. Fetch.
Oh, he's a good swimmer, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
Will he swim out very far?
Well, as far as I can throw the Frisbee, I guess.
That's wonderful.
You like to swim?
I can't.
You can't swim? You live on this wonderful island and you can't swim?
I used to be able to.
What happened?
I forgot how.
You forgot?
Yes. Oh, here he comes with his red Frisbee.
How could you forget?
I just forgot. Oh, look. He wants you to throw it for him again.
He'd do this all day if I throw it for him.
And would he swim very far up?
I suppose he would.
All dogs can swim, I guess.
No, not right away. They have to be taught.
Like people?
Not exactly, but they have to be made to realize that they can. That's about what it amounts to, I guess.
They don't always know that they can.
They're as surprised as anybody when they find out.
That's fascinating. Are you going to throw the Frisbee again?
I think he's had enough for today. We both have.
Will you be coming back tomorrow?
I imagine so.
Maybe I'll see you here.
That'd be nice.
Well, bye, Ben.
Bye. Hey, wait a minute. You, young lady.
What?
How did you know my name?
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. I watched her swinging off down the beach. I judged she might be about 17, though she could as well have been 12 or 20. She wore a sort of shapeless smock. Her legs were ruddy brown from the sun, and her hair was streaked in shades of gold. I remembered her eyes, which were the startling blue of Delft china. I heard again her clear young voice calling,
Goodbye, Ben. See you tomorrow.
And the next day, I was on the beach early in the morning. Not now, boy. No. We're waiting for someone. Well, what is it, boy? Hey, what are you doing? Where are you going? Come back here. He'd seen her before I did, before she rounded the curve in the shoreline. Or had he simply sensed her coming? Or what? At any rate, there she was, swinging down the beach toward me.
Hello.
Hello there.
You're out early.
So are you.
I didn't keep you waiting, did I?
Well, I'd have waited all day.
Oh, you wouldn't have had to do that. I knew you were here. I had to do something for my mother first.
How'd you know I was here?
I knew.
But how?
The way a person knows those things.
But people don't just know those things.
Don't they?
Oh, you saw me from your house. Where do you live? Do you have a place on the beach?
Oh, no. We live in the Great House.
What's the Great House?
It's just a house. They call it the Great House because it used to be where the governor lived. The Spanish governor, long time ago. Ben, aren't you going to throw the red Frisbee for the dog? See, he wants you to.
How'd you know my name is Ben?
I guess you told me.
I never told you. You never asked. I never told you, but when you left yesterday, you said, goodbye, Ben.
Why don't you throw the Frisbee?
Ben is my name. But you had no way of knowing that. My name
I really don't care what your name is. May I throw the red Frisbee?
Sure, go ahead if you want to.
I do want to. There, fetch, boy. My, he does swim beautifully.
What's your name?
Nicky, you told me yesterday that dogs had to learn how to swim.
Now, what I said was they have to find out that they can swim. I guess that's true of people, too. Probably we can all swim, but we have to find out at some time or other that we can. It's quite a discovery for a person or a dog.
How did your dog find out he can swim?
Well, it was when we were in Australia. I made a weekend trip to the Great Barrier Reef, and of course I took him along. I was sitting on the beach with him, the way we're sitting now, and I had this red Frisbee, same one I have now, and I threw it into the water. And he plunged in after it and brought it back. Next time I threw it further, and he brought it back. I'd never thrown it so far that he couldn't stand up in the water. But then I did. I threw it way out to where the water was over his head.
But he went after it?
Oh, yes. And he got to about 3 feet away from it, and all of a sudden his feet didn't touch bottom anymore. But he stretched his neck out and grabbed the Frisbee anyway between his teeth. And he tried to turn around to bring it back to me, and that was when he found out he couldn't touch bottom.
And he started to swim?
Not yet. He sank under the water.
Oh, no.
He came up again right away. He looked so surprised, and then he went under again.
What did you do? Did you just stand there?
He went down for the 3rd time, and I started in after him.
I should hope.
But before I got to him, he started to swim, paddling away like mad. You know the way dogs do?
Oh, I know.
And there was such a look in his eyes, such a look of triumph, belief in himself. It was as though his ancestors from way back, hundreds of thousands of years ago, had whispered to him somehow down the ages as though they'd said, "You know how you can do it." And he did it. I've never forgotten that.
That's a beautiful story, Benedict.
It's true. What did you call me just now?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You called me Benedict. Yesterday, you called me Ben. Well, that could be a lucky guess, but Ben is usually short for Benjamin, and my name is Benedict. And that's what you called me.
Well, if that's your name.
Yes, but how did you know? How could you know that?
You're kind of hurting my arm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ben, would you like to meet my mother? I'd like you to.
All right. Anytime.
Will you come this afternoon for tea?
I'd love to.
Ask anybody where the Great House is. Everybody knows the Great House.
All right.
Oh, and Benedict, be sure to bring your dog with you.
It was easy to see why it had been called the Great House. The woodwork was solid mahogany and carved. The doors were mahogany, too, nearly 6 inches thick. The rooms were large and square and full of sunlight. The girl, Nikki, met me at the door and took me to her mother. A beautiful woman with the same Delft blue eyes.
This is Benedict, Mother, and this is his dog.
I'm so glad, Mrs.
Oh, why don't you call me Monica? Since you and Nikki are such good friends, we're very informal here.
Well, thank you.
Ben, may I take the dog down to the beach?
Nikki, please.
I just want to throw the red Frisbee for him.
Please, Nikki.
May I, Ben?
Well, if you want to.
I won't stay long.
I hope you don't think my daughter's rude. She has strange ways, but she's a good girl.
She's a wonderful girl.
Oh? You think so?
She has everything. She has a loveliness that takes your breath away.
Yes, she is lovely.
She has sweetness and gaiety.
Yes?
But she has something else. I don't know what that is.
You don't?
Do you?
She has a wild talent.
A what?
A wild talent.
Well, what is that? What is a wild talent?
No one knows precisely, except perhaps those who take the trouble to learn.
All talent is wild, really. It comes from heaven knows where. It cannot be coaxed or bribed or bought. It cannot be cultivated. It cannot be manufactured or in any way acquired. But no matter where it comes from or in whom it resides, talent is never a tame thing. It is always wild, as the winds are wild, as the seas are wild, as the world was in its beginnings and as it remains at its core, wild. I'll be back shortly with Act 2. On sands the color of a ripe peach, on an island in the blue waters of the Caribbean Sea, Benedict has met a girl called Nikki, who lives with her mother in a stately home called the Great House. Nikki has persuaded Benedict to come to the Great House to meet her mother, but no sooner had introductions been made than she asked to be excused to take Benedict's dog to the beach, leaving Benedict alone with her mother.
I hope you don't think my daughter rude. She has a wild talent.
A wild talent? Is that what you said?
You've never heard of such a thing?
I can't say I have. What is a wild talent?
Well, no one knows precisely. If you take the trouble to find out.
Well, what is it? Is it mystical? Is it magical?
Would it help if I said that it had something to do with extrasensory perception? Thought transference?
Did your daughter tell you that she knew my name without my ever having mentioned it?
No, she didn't tell me. But then she wouldn't.
And not only that, she called me Ben, which is my nickname. And the next day she called me Benedict, my given name. Suppose she was lucky in guessing that I'm generally called Ben. She could have assumed it was the diminutive of Benjamin, a pretty common name. But she didn't. She called me Benedict, a fairly uncommon name. I'm surprised she didn't mention it to you.
Nikki's very casual about such things. She takes them for granted.
But does she think that everyone is so intuitive? Doesn't she realize that she is somehow different?
I don't think she gives it any thought at all.
Tell me, has she always had this wild talent?
She never showed any sign of it. At least none that I noticed until 2 years ago.
Yes?
Until her brother died.
Oh, she didn't tell me. I didn't know she'd had a brother.
He was drowned.
Oh, I am sorry.
Well, my goodness, you were invited here for tea, and I've never given you any.
Oh, that's quite all right.
No, I'll put the water on right away. It won't take but a minute.
There's no hurry. Nikki?
Oh, it's you.
Your mother's in the kitchen. She'll be right back. Nikki, are you all right? You look a little... You're not feeling ill or anything, are you?
I'm all right.
Well, did you two have a good time with the red Frisbee?
Oh, yes. I threw it very far out.
Well, fine.
Tea will be ready shortly.
Nikki's back.
Nikki? Nikki, go upstairs immediately and lie down.
The tide turned.
Go upstairs, take a hot bath, and lie down in your room.
Yes, Mother. You see, the tide turned, and I had to come back.
I'm sorry, Benedict.
What's the matter with her? She said the tide turned.
It was when the tide turned that her brother drowned. Benedict, I don't think we can have our tea today, but come back tomorrow, will you? And I'll explain what she meant when she said the tide turned.
I wasn't sure that I'd see Nikki on the beach the next morning.